I want to share a story today. And then I'm going to read 2 verses afterwards. But about a week ago, oh no, let's go further back. About 2 weeks ago, I started asking God to help me open my eyes to see how I can help someone. And in the midst of that prayer, and the few days afterward, I was having kind of an internal frustration because there is this part of me that wants to be a giver really, really bad. I want to give. And so a lot of my prayers ended up being kind of a pleading slash arguing slash, I'm not really sure how to explain it except just to say that I was almost complaining. Father, my husband and I are so blessed, right? You start with the positive. We're so blessed, but we don't have enough to share. We don't have enough to give to others. And I'm like, I know there are other ways to serve people, but it's like all my life, I feel like I've been on the end of receiver. And that is a blessing. But when you ache and yearn to give back so bad, to see someone and bless them, it really hurts when you feel like you're just too poor, when you feel like you just don't have enough to give. And I just kept praying about it. Like, Father, like, okay, like I'm going to come to you humbly because I am humble. I have a humble home and a humble income. So open my eyes, open my heart, show me how I can serve in other ways. Or just open my eyes to like a moment that maybe I'm missing, because I can be very task oriented. I get in the car, it's from A to B. I get to work, I have a list in front of me to check off. I can be my own problem, right? Very tunnel visioned. Well, one day in the mail, we get this coupon for a free Whopper. And I almost didn't believe it. I'm like, okay, what's the fine print say? You got to buy something to get the free Whopper. And the goal that day was I had a hard day at work anyway. I wasn't going to make it home for lunch. So I would just run out for a quick free Whopper and come back. Well, the whole day I just wasn't hungry and I was just busy getting work done. So then I was like, okay, I'll get the Whopper on the way home and I'll share it with my husband because, you know, it's a free Whopper. Let's enjoy this. I go and I get the Whopper and I get it loaded with cheese and bacon, right? Like I'm going big. And I'm on my way home. And on my way home, I always pass this food pantry, which, because my family's humble, we use from time to time. And it's on my way home. And I see this older man on a bike. And you know when sometimes the spirit within you knows more than you do? Because Jamie would never have caught this. Like I told you, I go A to B. I'm tunnel visioned. But I'm noticing this man, and I just know within me he's headed to the food pantry. I knew it. He looked homeless. And as I'm passing the food pantry, we're coming towards each other, right? He's coming towards the food pantry and I'm passing it. I'm realizing it's closed. They close early in the summer. It gets hot. And I drove another block and I just, with this internal warfare, like, it's closed. I bet he's hungry. I bet he rode that bike a really long way hoping for food. And then all of a sudden I look over and I'm like, I have a Whopper. I have food at home. Like I can eat at home. I'm going to give him my Whopper. So I turn around. Sure enough, he's parked his bike at the food pantry and he's just staring at it. And like, I can only imagine that life where you have ridden your bike. It is a hot day. He looks hungry, guys. Like he looks like he hasn't eaten in a long time. And I pulled up to him. I was like, hey, sir. And he just kind of turned around. I was like, do you have food? Because they're closed. He's like, no. And I was like, well, are you hungry? A little. And I grabbed the bag and I handed it to him. I'm like, well, here, do you want a Whopper? Yeah. And he just kind of like looked at me in shock. Like, I don't know what he had been thinking prior to me pulling up. I don't know. But he just looked at me in shock. And I was like, well, God bless you. And I pulled out and drove away. And I drove away fast because I was already starting to cry. I mean, bawling. Like I was just crying my eyes out, thanking God, like, I can't believe you did that for me. I felt honestly more blessed than the homeless man because I had been begging and pleading and complaining and whining about, I want an opportunity to give to someone who's truly in need, not just say, I'm praying for you, not just be a listening ear, but actually truly do something concrete and helpful for them. And I just cried the whole way home in worship and praise, thanking God for that free Whopper coupon and the fact that I hadn't been hungry all day and the fact that He opened my eyes to see Him, opened my eyes and my heart to realize where He was headed, and where He was headed was going to be no help at all. Jamie on a normal day wouldn't have realized any of that. She would have gone home and ate her Whopper in ignorant bliss. But because I had been praying and begging for Him to open my eyes, He did. And you guys, I share this story because the reward was in the moment itself. And maybe it's because it's the first time I've ever been able to do something like that. Some of you, God has blessed in a different way than me, and you are able to give. But that was a moment for me, a moment of my God listens, my God sees me, and my God saw Him. I blessed Him and He blessed me because God was in the moment. And I'm sharing this because sometimes we need help remembering that He orchestrates it, not us. We have moments where, we do pretty good. But if we're honest, we miss a lot of opportunities to bless each other. And sometimes we just give up because I don't have anything to give. And we forget how big and amazing our God is. And I'm sharing this because I didn't want to at first. Because let me read a passage to tell you why. Matthew 6. Beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them, for then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. Thus, when you give to the needy, sound no trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be praised by others. Truly, I say to you that they have received their reward. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And that passage has kept me from sharing this. Like I told my husband, because he had been expecting a Whopper when I came home, because I had told him, hey, I didn't eat lunch. I'm going to bring it home to share. So I had to tell him. And then my kids overheard. But then I'm like, I'm not telling anyone else though, because I know that passage, you're not supposed to be talking about this. And then I read a different passage today. Matthew 5:16. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. It's about perspective and it's about motivation. In Matthew 6, it's about wanting to be seen by others, wanting to get attention. It says that they may be praised by others. I'm not seeking that. I want to tell you so bad because my God is so good. I still want to cry about it, guys, because you don't know what it's like to give when you've got nothing to give. I felt like that widow with the 2 coins, right? Like, who knows the backstory to that? Maybe God gave her those 2 coins so that she felt like she could actually give, right? It's amazing what God can do when you put your trust in Him. When you completely surrender and you lay it at His feet like King David does in the Psalms, right? When you're just honest, like, God, I want to serve. I want to help. But here's my problem. I'm poor, so I feel useless. And here's my other problem. I tend to not notice people until it's too late. Help me, open my eyes, open my heart. Help me to see the way you see. And Father, help me to give. He answers those prayers. When you mean them, when you're sincere, He provides a way because, trust me, he wants to use you. And he wants the hungry to be fed. He wants the thirsty to be satisfied. And he wants the lonely and the unseen to feel like God sees them. Because you guys, when I told that man, God bless you, it wasn't me. It was one of those moments, because I honestly wanted to drive away so fast because I could already feel myself ready to cry. It was one of those, oh, I gotta go. But the words came out with just a natural flow. I didn't think them, they just came. He wanted that man to know that this was a godly moment, that this was a God sees you moment. It's not about this girl handing you a bag with a Whopper. God sees you. God knew you were heading to a closed food pantry and that you were hungry. And God knew that this one girl who had been crying to help had just been given a free Whopper and a golden opportunity. You guys, he is beautiful. I have to share that, because by not sharing it in fear that I'm like somehow bragging, well, here's the thing, I'm not bragging about me, I'm bragging about him. And I don't even want a reward for it. I even remember I was crying on the way home going, God, why do you even promise rewards for this in heaven? Like, I am so rewarded right here, right now. I can't even imagine you giving me a reward for this later. Like, how overindulgent are you? But today's verse, it just hit me. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. We should share stories, not to brag, right? And I think really in that moment too, it's about, I didn't draw any attention to myself. It was a quiet street. No one was there. But I want to tell you, because trust God. Trust him. Trust him to use you. Even when you feel useless, when you feel broken, when you feel stupid. Like, this sounds like a weird word to throw out, but that is something that always enters my head. God, I'm just too dumb for this. Like, I just never seem to see what you see. Trust him. Trust him and lay everything at his feet, and he will show you. He will show you what he's capable of, because it's not about you. It's not about what you have and what you are able to do. It's about what he gives you and where he guides you, and if you obey. I hope this blesses you, because it has blessed me beyond measure since it happened. Simply that my God heard me and my God used me. I mean, amen, right? Like, just you guys, be his hands, be his feet. And that doesn't mean you'll always be doing something profound, but it means you're ready. You're ready. Have a good day.